Kanu appeared in court. He categorically stated that no court in Nigeria can try him.
Of course.
Under what premise was he making that pronouncement?
Because the particular evidence which they have brought against Nnamdi Kanu about jurisdiction has been nullified. That was why they withdrew it in their charge. Because for you to say that where did he commit this offense? That is very important in this type of trial. You cannot say that somebody. So where did you steal this property? It's a criminal charge. I hope you know. You cannot say that. Where did you commit this offense? It is very important. If you cannot identify where the offense was committed, then what are you doing? What are you trying? That is the problem here. The federal government know that no matter how they detain Nnamdi Kanu, they cannot wriggle out of that. And they do not come and say, okay, Nnamdi Kanu, go home, just like they did for Showore. They can't do that. After they have messed up everything, they are afraid that Nnamdi Kanu may institute a case against them for renditioning him from Kenya. Are you getting it now? These are the quagmire the federal government are in now. And that is why they are finding it difficult to even look. All this thing about Nnamdi Kanu is looking for a judge or not that. My dear, it is not necessary. I have a precedent here.
Hello guys, welcome back again. Before I allow you guys to enjoy this video or you go ahead, I would like you guys to subscribe to the channel, like my videos, and share to friends if you're enjoying this video. But this is because of Nnamdi Kanu and the government. Because the government, as I said, know that there's nothing they can do to Nnamdi Kanu because Nnamdi Kanu did not do anything. There's nothing to prove that Nnamdi Kanu did. Because Nnamdi Kanu only asked for a referendum. That's the only thing he asked for the government, nothing else. So the government cannot provide anything in the court. Because the court has said that Nnamdi Kanu himself is free. But it's the government that is refusing to release him. Because he has done nothing to the government. Nothing. And they don't have anything against him. So they're doing like this. Even to the extent that DSS don't to allow the lawyers to meet him again. That's the level where we are. But let me guys to continue that video and I'll be with you guys shortly.
To the World News, the 12 on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. And of course, it's time for a news analysis segment. And I have right here in the studio, Barrister Darlington Agumor, who is a political, national and social affairs commentator. Barrister Darlington, good afternoon and welcome to the World News at 12.
Good afternoon, and how are you?
I am fine. Let's start up with this particular controversial case. You know that the news today has been riddled with all court cases. Apparently, most of the cases were held simultaneously earlier today because we've been hearing the rulings from all the court judgments. Now, let's look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu. The Chief Judge at the Federal High Court, Justice John Toshaw, has reportedly declined Binta Nyako's, recusal from his case. Now, he gave 3 valid reasons as to why he is reassigning Justice Nyako back to Nnamdi Kanu's case. He said that 2 other judges, right, have been previously recused from the case. That is, the first 2 judges who were handling Nnamdi Kanu's case, they've recused themselves. And that the case has lingered for too long, meaning that the case has been in court since 2015. And that the case mostly pended with Justice Binta Nyako, meaning that for the longest time, she's been the one handling the case. So she understands the case better than any other judge who may have to come in. Because if a judge comes in now, the judge may want to start afresh and they will start postponing and, assigning new dates. Now, the judge now said that if Justice Binta Nyako comes back to the case and Nnamdi Kanu still deems her unfit or deems her biased in continuing with the case, he needs to sign an affidavit on the grounds of requesting that recusal. What do you think this means? What's going to happen now?
Thank you, Esther. It is the right of everybody that is standing trial to be comfortable with the trial court or judge.
All right.
But if in the course of this trial you discover that you may not get fair hearing from this judge or this court, you can ask for the judge to excuse herself or himself from the matter.
But what Justice John Toshaw is saying is that there have been 2 other judges that have recused themselves from this case. The second thing he said is that the case has lingered for so long since 2015 that what a lot of critical, logical thinkers will be like, If this case has lingered for so long, is it Nnamdi Kanu's fault that the case has lingered for this long? So what exactly is wrong that they've not been able to surmise and conclude his case?
It is very obvious. It's like the federal government is shopping for evidence against Nnamdi Kanu.
They're shopping for evidence since 2015?
Yes.
You want to tell me that you detain somebody, you incarcerate somebody, and you don't have strong evidence to take that person to trial?
That is the modus operandi when you don't have a strong evidence against a suspect or a defendant.
Barrister Darlington, who was the first Attorney General of the Federation that took this case to the court? Was it not the former Minister of Justice, Malami?
Malami, of course, he was part of those who renditioned him from Kenya.
What were the strong points? What was the local standard for his incarceration?
Good. It was because that rendition, the people that went for him in Kenya, they didn't even know the crime they have committed themselves. It was when the court now said that, look, you people committed offense against this young man. That what you did was an international crime against him. And that we don't even have a law to try Nnamdi Kanu for what you are saying.
Okay.
And it was when the court now, because jurisdiction is very important when you are going for this type of trial.
Exactly.
When they now realize that the offense you have charged this man for was committed in London. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
And they now realize that if they move on with this case, they cannot succeed. So they remove London. If you have not removed London, so what are you now going to try Nnamdi Kanu for? Esther, that is the crux of the matter. Except they can be able to resolve that jurisdiction. They cannot, they can't get Nnamdi Kanu anywhere. And so when the court now explained this to the prosecutors, they became now ashamed. They don't know whether to return Nnamdi Kanu to Kenya or to free him or to continue with the case. That is the quagmire they are in, because it was the court that told them this. So based on that fact now, the federal government are looking for any other thing. Maybe they are looking for Nnamdi Kanu to commit one thing in prison or the other. They will now say, okay, since you are in prison, look at what you have done in prison. That is the reason why this detention has prolonged for this long. And the other two judges that excused themselves from this, did you see the reason why Nnamdi Kanu gave? That they are biased. And it's because these judges knew. That was why they excused themselves. So if Justice Tosho is now saying that Nnamdi Kanu should not write and give affidavit, and the other two judges that excused themselves, did he follow the same procedure?
Barrister Darlington, in 2022, you know Nnamdi Kanu was renditioned in 2021.
Yes.
In 2022, Nnamdi Kanu actually requested from the DSS for an oral testimony as to his deteriorating health condition.
Yes.
At that time, he was requesting to be taken out of the DSS custody to possibly Kirikiri or any other correctional center while his case continues in court. Now, the DSS rejected that particular request. The DSS rejected Nnamdi Kanu's request for oral evidence from the DSS.
Yes.
On several occasions, there have been impediments as to how this case can continue. The first one being the fact that they have alluded that he was the one responsible for the conflict in the Southeast. Thereby, it was important for them to continue to his detainment to curtail the upheaval in the Southeast. But as it stands now, the fact that he is still incarcerated, it has not ameliorated the security challenges in the Southeast. If that is the case, why have they not accelerated his hearing since 2015? Now, Justice John Soho Tosho is saying now that possibly because it has taken too long, that Binta Nyako is in the best position to handle it. When this case got to the Supreme Court, why was it taken back to the Federal High Court? Why did the court eventually ask the Attorney General of the Federation to refile, that they didn't go about it in the first instance? So whose fault is it that it has lingered for this long?
It is the fault of the federal government. I told you here that shopping for evidence against Nnamdi Kanu. All these things that they are saying up and down, it is not strong enough to convict Nnamdi Kanu. It's not possible. Even the Supreme Court was against how they now withdrew Nnamdi Kanu's bail. The Supreme Court said that it was wrong for them to have withdrawn his bail after hearing all the argument on both sides. And that was why the Supreme Court said they should go back, and that Nnamdi Kanu should even sue the federal government. He should institute a civil suit against the federal government. All this is in public domain.
The last time Nnamdi Kanu appeared in court, he categorically stated that no court in Nigeria can try him.
Of course.
Under what premise was he making that pronouncement?
Because the particular evidence which they have brought against Nnamdi Kanu about jurisdiction has been nullified. That was why they withdrew it in their charge. Because for you to say that this, where did he commit this offense? That is very important in this type of trial. You cannot say that somebody stole. Where did you steal this property? It's a criminal charge. I hope you know. You cannot say that. Where did you commit this offense? It is very important. If you cannot identify where the offense was committed, then what are you doing? What are you trying? That is the problem here. The federal government know that no matter how they detain Nnamdi Kanu, they cannot wriggle out of that. And they do not come and say, okay, Nnamdi Kanu, or you go home, just like they did for Shawore. They can't do that. After they have messed up everything, they are afraid that Nnamdi Kanu may institute a case against them for renditioning him from Kenya. Are you getting it now? These are the quagmire the federal government are in now. And that is why they are finding it difficult to even look. All this thing about Nnamdi Kanu is looking for a judge or not that. My dear, it is not necessary. I have a president here. Government Tom Polo.
Exactly.
Was tried in absentia and sentenced. He didn't appear in court for 1 day.
And nothing happened.
I'm telling you, the federal government tried him in absentia and he was sentenced. Unfortunately, that same man is doing contract for the federal government today. Esther, how do you justify all this thing for God's sake? How do you? I'm talking of those who have held arms against the federal government. Arms.
Serious arms.
So,
we even have persons who are like non-state actors. We have Asari Dokubo telling us he has men, he has RPGs. He said it openly via his social media account, and nobody has called him to question. Nobody has asked where his facility is, where he's storing those RPGs.
The one I discussed yesterday on my program was this one about terrorists who were rehabilitated into our military, running away with the gun they gave them a motorcycle. Esther, can you define this in any form or shape? That they told us yesterday that they have sworn with the Quran, they have been de-radicalized, they are that, they are this, they are born again.
Now they've reintegrated them.
Yes, they ran away with the guns, Esther, guns purchased with our taxpayers' money and motorcycle. What was their reason? They said what they told them before they joined them is not what they are hearing. So what was the promise made to them? I'm talking of terrorists. Terrorists.
So, Barrister Darlington, in this particular matter now, since Justice John Soho has, asked that Justice Binta Inyako comes back to that particular case, what if she declines to come back? What then happens?
The choice is hers.
The choice is hers.
Yes.
In this particular instance,
yes.
Initially she was not the one who asked to recuse herself. It was Nnamdi Kanu who boldly stated in the court that he doesn't trust her judgment, right? Now, and of course he ruled out certain factors as to why he doesn't trust her presiding over his case. And she said, if that is what you want, I would step down. But do you think that she's going to obey this chief judge of the Federal High Court order to return to Nnamdi Kanu's case?
In fact, Nnamdi Kanu and his lawyers, they already have something to hold on to.
And what is that?
Good. This particular judge initially suggested that they should go and seek for political solution to this problem.
Yes.
For a judge to say that, it means that she had looked at this case and see that it's not going anywhere. That is the first thing everybody should know. If she know that this matter, that is a strong evidence against Nnamdi Kanu, she wouldn't have made that suggestion.
Okay, Barrister.
Now, listen.
Okay.
Now, before this time, a certain Amadi was on air, everywhere, on social media. He revealed that this same judge, you told him that this that this matter is not going anywhere because the federal government cannot succeed in their charge against Nnamdi Kanu. Up till now, nobody has come to say it's a lie. Up till now. So on what basis will this judge continue? Already there is this moral burden now on her. Yes. There's nothing she will do about that case after all this evidence. I'm telling you, there's nothing she will do about this matter. After this, there is nothing.
Barrister Darlington, let me bring your mind back. You will recall that when the same judge had requested that Nnamdi Kanu and the federal government or the Attorney General of the Federation try to come through what you call a truce, a political truce. I remember at the time, the rancor was the fact that Nnamdi Kanu never said that he wants to have a possible conversation or negotiation with the federal government. Do you think that maybe his legal team did not approach the Attorney General of the Federation Federation? Because I remember that time, what was in the news was Nnamdi Kanu can never go and meet the federal government because he has done nothing wrong or whatever. Is it about pride now or ego? Because if his team did not reach out to the Attorney General of the Federation, or possibly his team is waiting for the Attorney General of the Federation to reach out to him and that did not happen, is this why we're seeing this case being prolonged?
No, don't look for something that is not missing.
Okay.
The Kanu's team, legal team, they have approached the Attorney General.
Okay.
We also it. Ejimako compiled all the judgment in favor of Nnamdi Kanu, none of them. And he had taken it to the man. Even some lawmakers headed by Abaribe.
Yes.
They are going to meet the Attorney General. And the man promised them that they will look into it.
Okay.
And that was after that suggestion by the judge.
Yes.
So what else are they delaying? Okay, did they offer Nnamdi Kanu anything and he said no, I don't want?
Maybe there are some. Do you think there are some conditions that he doesn't want to abide by in the conversation they're having?
Please, I told you, don't look for something that's not missing. We have not had anything from the federal government that Nnamdi Kanu refused, or anything that was suggested to Igbo people and the Igbo elder, and they said no, we don't want this. Nothing was faced from the federal government. When the Showere was released, was there any condition? They just entered the nolly prosecute and the man was let off the hook, discharged and acquitted. So what is delaying Nnamdi Kanu's case? Since you know you cannot win this case against him, why are you delaying the matter?
That's a very big question.
Yes.
What exactly is delaying this case?
I'm telling you.
Why the back and forth?
Yes.
Why the back and forth? If they have evidences against him, why don't you present it and accelerate the trial?
What are you telling me? That we have two other cases. Dasuki, until today.
Sambo Dasuki.
Did you see him in court? Until they asked him to go.
Exactly.
Al Mustafa.
Darius Ishaku too.
All of them. They have been let go. So what is delaying Nnamdi Kanu's case? So anybody who is telling you that Nnamdi Kanu refused is a lie. We have not had anything from the federal government.
All right, Barrister.
They believe that when they break Nnamdi Kanu's spirit in detention, maybe he will now do one thing or the other. They will now hold something against him. They are working towards an answer. They are working because everybody have told them release this man before the inevitable happens. Because if something happens to this man, please, how will the federal government defend it? Remember that the United Nations have written concerning Nnamdi Kanu in this matter. United Nations
on several occasions.
Yes, US and UK have waded into this matter, yet they remain adamant. What do you think is going on here? If there is a strong, nobody will even intervene in Nnamdi Kanu's case. Nobody will support a terrorist anywhere in the world. But look at how they are pampering those in the north. Esther, just imagine. The whole world is watching what is going on.
So you're saying that there is a geographical preference in this case?
Is it not obvious? Is it not obvious? What else are we talking about here? All these things that they are throwing up, all these legal shenanigans, it will not help this case. It will not. They believe that when they keep in Nnamdi Kanu, maybe the agitation will stop. Esther, has it stopped?
No.
Has it stopped?
No.
That will tell you that there is 1,001 Nnamdi Kanu waiting to take over from him, and it may not be as quiet as it is now.
I don't even know what the government wants from Nnamdi Kanu. Like, they should come out and say it. They should, like, if they don't want you to stop Biafra agitation, they should come and tell him, please stop Biafra agitation, so that we will know that that's what they want. Because right now, it's no more making sense. Nnamdi Kanu have done nothing, but you're detaining him. Nnamdi Kanu court have said that he's free. You are still detaining him. What else do you want from him? To the extent that DSS are no longer allowing the lawyers to have access to Nnamdi Kanu, and the court even gave an order that the lawyers can meet Nnamdi Kanu 3 times in a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but it's not happening because of what? They are afraid of something. And I keep asking this question: what is wrong? Is Nnamdi Kanu dead? Is he sick? Has he been bite? Let them come out and tell us. Than preventing the lawyers from meeting Nnamdi Kanu. That means for over 1 month and now, we've not heard anything from Nnamdi Kanu. Don't know his story about, don't know his state, don't know anything about Nnamdi Kanu right now because of what? The government ordered the DSS, or the DSS said that there's an order from above that said that they should not allow the lawyers to meet Nnamdi Kanu. Why? Then that means they're going against the court of law, because the law said that they should have access to Nnamdi Kanu for 3 days in a week. But the government are not going against him, going against the court of law. Make it make sense now. This is a country that finished. There's no more Nigeria. And not like one Nigeria. They should divide Nigeria. I think Nigeria is too big for a man to control. It's too big for a one man to control. And that's why Gowon was during that time that Gowon was the main issue that caused all this thing happening in Nigeria right now, because he said that he wanted one Nigeria, and that was why he allowed that war to happen. War that buried over 3 million Igbos. And now Nigeria is not even one, because now Igbos have been discriminated since that day till today. Igbos are always been discriminated. Meanwhile, guys, think I would like guys to your views about this video you've watched in the comment section. Like I said in the beginning, if you are new here, subscribe. See you guys in my next video.